1,500 words. Some people say under 1,000, but I prefer 15 because I'm verbose. It is a noir sort of story. It is a snapshot of a gentleman's best day, I suppose.
Please do read it for us.
Well, since you asked me so nicely, I guess I have no choice. The story is titled One-Way Ticket. If any day in my life had ever mattered, it was this one. After 30 years in the pen for murder, I was finally getting out. Truth was, I was innocent. I know they all say that, but I actually was. It took 30 years for the law's technology to catch up to the modern age to prove it. Funny how it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, until the rape and murder of a kid's involved. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying what happened to the kid was right, but I was put away long enough to be bitter about it. Johnny Two Fingers told me when I opened my eyes, excited as a kid on Christmas, that things out there wouldn't be like they were in here. Innocent or not, everyone would always wonder. He told me that I'd never get a job and I was better off just staying in the pen. I had a wife waiting for me. She'd been waiting since I went away. Sweet gal. She came to visit me once a month and told me how everything was going back home. Her name's Celia. Mine's Marcus, by the way, for what that matters. Marcus Duchesne. Yeah, I know it has the word douche in it. Real classy, keep laughing. Anyway, I got all packed up, which consisted of folding my blankets at the foot of my bed, making sure I was shaved and clean and looking damn pretty. Everyone catcalled at me as I strutted by their cells. For the most part it was good-natured, but I'd been in there long enough that most of them knew by now that trying to screw with me was a bad idea. Before I'd ended up in here, I had a black belt in Muay Thai. It's this martial arts that specializes in breaking things. I got in trouble for fighting when I first got in here, but over time and with enough broken noses, people learned to leave me be. It was spring on the outside, and I had apple blossoms dancing in my head because that's what we had back home when I sat down in front of the board. Most people would think that I'd be grinning like an idiot, but I just couldn't conjure up a smile for these bastards. They all looked like the back end of a toad dressed in Armani. You ever seen a toad in an Armani suit? They're still slimy, still bulging-eyed, and still hot under the collar. I've never seen a toad in an Armani suit, but I can guess what it looks like. They stared at me for a long time, and eventually started asking me all the questions. I don't really remember most of them. Eventually someone mumbled an apology for keeping me in the pen for so long, but none of them really thought I was innocent. While I was trying to figure out if the apology was actually going to make them sick, one of them croaked to the guards that I was going to be taken out back and given my stuff. Celia was picking me up. She'd told me that last phone call. She'd been so happy she was crying. Honestly, I was more nervous than excited. Trying to remember what it was like not to wake up to the sound of buzzers and all that was going to be tough. Old dogs, new tricks. But hell, I was going to be out. What else mattered?
Beth Harvey, author and editor-at-large, thank you so much for being with me today on the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast. I know my listeners will enjoy your work and your interview. I salute your success in editing and writing.
You are very welcome, Adam. It was a great deal of fun, and I hope to be able to come back at some point and regale people with more of my stories of the horrors of editing.
If you're looking for a community of like-minded individuals who can offer support, tools, and advice about how you can start your own adventures in writing, prepare to have the cauldron of your imagination stirred. I started the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast for one purpose: to do everything I can to get your voice heard about your writing and get more eyes on your books. My goal is to do whatever it takes to help you achieve the success you so richly deserve.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast, located at eatsleepwrite.net. Please send any questions, comments or suggestions to comments@eatsleepwrite.net. Please consider a donation to support the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast. Donations can be sent to our PayPal address at donations@eatsleepwrite.net. Once in a lifetime, the theme music for the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast, courtesy of Stephen Paul. All rights reserved, used by permission. Please join us again for the next edition of the Eat, Sleep, Write podcast.